I was getting very dizzy and my appetite was not as strong. I started losing so much weight because of that. But I did start doing some exercising and other activities. However, my education level went down because of the medication. I started developing blurred vision and I began having problems reading and paying attention in class. The teachers and assistants there were losing their patience with me, and it was just really annoying them. This went on, and the staff there were getting really irritated with me because of it. However, my doctor knew how to treat the problem. It just took a while. Finally, my head started to clear up and my appetite started to increase. My weight was going down and I was becoming more active and athletic. My mother and father were pleased with the results. I decided that I did not want to go back to Morning Sky since that guy might be there again and it was an all boys school. After my mother got all of my stuff out of that school and to me, I had access to more stuff. The Gateways Hospital unit that I was in may not have been an open unit, and we could not move around the unit. We could not move to another unit, but it had 4 different levels. Level 1, we had to stay in the unit and eat in the unit. The only exception was going to our classrooms at school. Level 2, we were allowed to go outside the unit to eat in the cafeteria. Eat in the cafeteria. Go to the OT room and recreation center room and the recreation room with staff supervision, but we could not leave the ward. Level 3, we were able to leave the ward with staff supervision, but we had to stay with the staff and group. Level 4, we were allowed to go home and spend the day with our folks, but we had to return that same day. When I reached level 4, I was able to do a lot of things, but I was not independent. Oops, next paragraph. I had to go to court for conservatorship, seeing who would be my conservator. My mother was picked to be my conservator. During that time, outside of court, we were discussing my health issue. I had high cholesterol and high blood pressure. Therefore, I decided to go on a vegetarian diet. During that diet, I was eating salads and pizza. I was eating salads and cheese pizzas. I was also just eating fries and drink during restaurant meals. Some of the girls, if not most, have been very nice to me. Some wanted to sit close to me, and others wrote, made me a little gift, and others just ran others just ran and started hugging me even though the staff was against it. I have earned up to level 4 when I was at the hospital even though I had my bad days. The same girl that I that the game the same girl that sat by me at Van Nuys Hospital was admitted at Gateways Hospital. There, she started having problems of her own. So, although I promised to be with her every step, I broke that promise because I saw myself in that behavior when I saw her. Then I saw how bad I was treated as well. Therefore, I started treating her as bad as other people at Wilshire West School treated me. That was something that I regret doing today. Also, I have had problems drifting away from the group, and I started trying to cross boundaries. If that was not enough, I started lying about people behind their backs because of what I have been watching on television concerning certain television characters. I thought that if I joined the group of people who have hated me, I could be safe. But boy, was I wrong. I would have been labeled as a liar. And I think I was too at that time. Guys, whatever you hear in the, don't believe, not everything I say on the video is in the book. What I'm reading, whatever I'm reading in the video, not everything I'm saying is in the book. Even if I'm in the middle of the reading book, it doesn't. Don't worry, because I there are some words I'm adding extra and all that, so that I've not put on the book. But some stuff I remember. So just I just want to, you guys. I just want to clear you guys up on that. So okay, so I would have been labeled as a liar if, and I think I was too. However, I did start looking up to God and praying for my roommates and friends. I started writing ugly, but I started writing ugly things that I used to write down, but I stopped doing that. I was writing speeches there at the hospital, but getting sidetracked on television shows and exposed to bad habits put a halt on that. I mean, it kind of put a pause on that kind of thing. Later, during my stay at the hospital, while I was there for the first half, 6 weeks, I started getting healthier. After that, my doctor started looking for another school for me to go to that would be co ed. He found Devereaux in Santa Barbara, California. So I went there with my mother to take a tour, and we really liked what we saw there. Devereaux accepted me there, but it would be another 2 months before I would start going there. I was still finishing the rest of the school year at Gateways Hospital. I finally finished 10th grade at that school and started going to summer school there. I went there for most of the summer course. I went there for most of the summer courses. After that, it was time for me to get ready to leave the hospital. I was a whole lot thinner and I was more alert than I had ever been in a while. However, a week before I was getting ready to leave, I urinated in someone else's bed and I got in trouble for it. My doctor decreased my level from 4 to 3, and I had to eat in the unit. Although I was on level 3, I was still allowed to go out with my mother to eat, but to come back. I considered that a transition to discharge. Anyway, I finally earned my level 4 back and learned from my mistake. I learned that it is not funny when doing things like urinating in someone else's bed or nor putting insect carcasses on people's desk or putting it in their hands. Of course, it was time for me to think about my actions, but I did not get to that until I was in Devereaux. So, okay, so after I left Gateways Hospital, I spent another 6 weeks at home. I visited my father for a week and saw him and talked to him. I also started listening to gospel music and stopped using profanity like I did in the past. I was accompanied with a friend that came over every day while my mom was at work. As the time was getting closer for me to go and start school at Devereaux, my mother took me to buy some new clothes and school supplies. I got myself set up and got ready. It was time for me to become a real high school student. And we're going to probably continue this story for the Wednesday Bible study on December 7th. But for right now, let's go ahead. I need to go ahead and I need to go ahead and get ready to sign up. So anyway, thank you very much, and I will see you, and I'll see you again.